I am Meriç Artaç. I'm a composer and a music theater maker, born in Istanbul and based in Amsterdam. I have a 16 months daughter, Elia, which I have a lot of fun with. And besides that, I really like to go out as where we are now and have walking sessions, if you can say a session, and also go out with my friends, drink coffee, ride a bicycle, do sports, and so I'm a very outgoing person, I must say, while I'm combining that part of me with the composer self, which is a great balance. As a composer, I am constantly a developing artist, and I am very much influenced by what I see around me and what I am surrounded with. So I get a lot of inspiration from my own life. Yeah, so this is some part that I also connect my surrounding with my compositions. As a composer, I would say I'm a dynamic, changing creative. Yeah, I start usually with one word, one idea, one concept that can be simple or quite complicated, like, for instance, death in Requiem, or certain emotions, like human emotions. And from that idea, so this is like the core, and then it starts to get bigger and bigger until it kind of becomes one art form. That's my approach. Also for Requiem, for Mariza, for Bosch Requiem, until it becomes one music theater piece.
A lot has changed. I mean, in 2 years, you're a completely different person. So that happened to me. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big changing thing in my life. Like, I used to work at home. Obviously, it was like way easier to stay in and work with my piano and my stuff in the room. And since my daughter is born, I have to find other places, because like when we are at home together, of course, like she wants to interact. The working conditions has changed. I found myself actually in many different places for this composition. Well, sometimes I was in the library, and other times I found myself in a cafe. Yeah, sometimes even here, like I would take a walk at Wondel Park, because composing is not only sitting and writing, of course, but it and start and ends in your mental space in here. Any place that I can use, I've been using. One of the challenge for me was kind of creating this mental space in between your baby at home and your other baby, your composition, and how to balance those two. So you need to really concentrate and find focus. And I think that was what I trained for the last 16 months. I usually work alone for my composition process, so for the music part. I really like to use that space for alone. Well, it's not that I never tried collaborating, so I'm also open for that. I think it might be very interesting. So I always did collaborate with the theatrical aspects, like with a director, scenographer, dramaturg, writer. This is basically also our team for the Bosch Requiem. I basically compose on the basis of what inspires me as a commission. So if it's an orchestral piece, if it's an ensemble piece, if it's a theatrical piece, if there is an element that I'm inspired, I'm immediately drawn to it. I don't have like specific things that I choose for, but in general what I think is music is very visual, very theatrical. So if I'm composing for an ensemble or for an orchestra, I would treat the music as visual as possible, how I would imagine the music, how I would see, how I would touch. That's my translation and connection from theatrical elements to the music that I do. I'm also teaching at the Amsterdam Conservatory, and I'm coordinating the composition department at Codarts. And on top of it, I always try to create space for my compositions, at least to create this connection every day, even though for a short time or long, doesn't matter. If I'm with my daughter, I stop worrying about my composition. And the moment that she's sleeping, she's out, she's doing something, then the composition kicks in again. So it's this kind of dynamic that somehow when I'm with her, I'm very present in the moment, there for her. But if I'm not with her, then somehow this composing world takes over my whole headspace and kind of starts to like float. All the ideas tries to connect to each other, So it is a very much of back and forth, or this change of concentrations. Being able to go out from your composing process, I think it helped me to see the overview better. It definitely opens space for it. I got a phone call 2 years ago if I would like to write Bosch Requiem. And once I understood that it was the Requiem, I was like, yes, I really want to do it. But the funny or weird part was that day I also got to learn that I was pregnant. So while something was forming, being born in me, I had to talk about death. I find it very kind of getting very close to each other. So it was a very interesting experience for me. This is my first Requiem. I really love to write it. When I was introduced to the project and when I heard the name of the painter, Jheronimus Bosch, it was a very interesting coincidence that I was traveling in the Black Sea side of Turkey, and then I saw this pink fountain installation by an artist in the middle of the Black Sea. Then immediately I started to connect. It was really like this pink mountain shape that is on the all the way on the left side of the painting. Then I thought, okay, like this should be really about the Garden of Earthly Delights. And that was really for me the inspiration for the uncanny feeling, like what you will get in this piece. It looks like things are real, but when you get closer, that you can't relate at all with all the figures and stuff. The performance is in Den Bosch, and I find it also very special to write a requiem for the city, for its painter, and I also bought books that analyzes his paintings. It's extremely sonic, actually, his paintings. Like you can really hear the painting, and that's very strong, I think. And there are literally also instruments there, but there are also a lot of symbols that you see. So it inspired me to create this concept of Mariza, our protagonist. So from November Music said that it could be an opera too, it could be a music, it could be an installation. And I think that freedom gives a great space for the artist, because then I don't need to write Requiem as in its traditional form, but what I did was incorporating the traditional Requiem text and connect it with the English text, which is written by Sarah Slimer.
Mariza is a woman. I don't know exactly what her age is. I think our age, like 21, yeah. And she's dying, actually. And in her death, she goes through all the phases of mourning.
Mariza has been in my life for a while. I've been writing kind of a book for years. So it's really like this one character that I've been building. And I'm very interested in also working on their psychology, their physical look, all this like as a package. She came to my mind basically immediately because I needed her in this piece. Like the way that how she is, it fits really well with what I wanted to create. And I wanted to tell from one person's perspective.
And Ra? He's a little bit of a classical figure in the sense that he guides her through all these phases to, like he's the bridge between the here and the afterlife. And sometimes he takes on him the role of like a boyfriend she had, or her mother, or someone from her life. But sometimes he also is a little bit, well, not the devil, but also someone who's really like taking her somewhere she doesn't want to go. In some sense, he's everything. He's always there for her.
So the Garden of Earthly Delights, that painting has 3 parts that represents heaven, earth and hell. On the back there's also the apocalypse, like the 4th, I could say, cycle. I was thinking quite a long time to integrate it into my own compositional form, because these are like scenes that is happening. Then I decided to also have these cycles in my piece. So the piece has 5 cycles. It is very much connected to the psychology of Mariza and the grieving stages that she's going with. She goes through a denial, a shock, and like all these stages that you would mourn for someone that you lost. But now she's mourning for her own life. What happened was that when I started to work on the concept, the team kind of was built together with Dutch National Opera and November Music. And I was, well, completely free to choose whom I would like to work with. And Silvia Costa is directing the piece. And Jasmijn van Wijnen is the dramaturg of the piece. And actually, it turned out to be a great team. At the beginning, I was thinking about the concept, but Jasmijn was always there with me, and Silvia too. Like, we were really looking into options and like what is the story that we are telling. It was a great chance to also include Sarah to the team, because as a text writer, she added this I don't know, the flavor of the dish. We are collaborating with New European Ensemble. There's 10 musicians from them. We have Capella Amsterdam, 16 choir members.
What is the role of the choir?
Sometimes they are actually like an echo of Mariza. They're doubling Ra and his whistles. So it's kind of almost like you're in a headspace of someone and there's an echo, you know. Like, but sometimes they're also really concrete with their Requiem text, and that's really going on at the same time. So while this kind of a chaos is happening, at the same time a Requiem is being sang for her.
We have the conductor, Krista. We have 2 solists, 1 mezzo-soprano, Karina Finke, and he likes to be called sopranista, and that is Marjan Licht. So sopranista is a male singer which has a soprano vocal range. And I have electronics also. I had a chance to work at the Willem II studios, and there I really wanted to work with the analog machines. And so in the electronics we will hear mostly the kind of a drony, sometimes bubbly sine waves and kind of, yeah, simple structured soundscape, I must say.
And you are using a very special instrument also in the ensemble, is it?
Yeah. Erhu is a Chinese instrument, a very beautiful, very delicate instrument. We had to kind of find a way to blend this instrument into the ensemble, but it gives a very beautiful color, I think.
It has been a challenging project, and I'm really looking forward to the combination of it. I think it's a very special combination of instruments. It's a very special way of incorporating the Latin Requiem text and also getting to know the character, the main character Mariza, and they can connect to the character. So I really hope it is somehow it touches them to their heart, and I really hope to create a special event for the evening and for the public.
Compliments for the show.